How's it going, everybody? I am DeanoGTO, and today we're going to be looking at the EBR Hotchkiss, the Tier 7 wheeled vehicle in the French, well, obviously wheeled vehicle line. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a particularly big fan of this vehicle. It feels big, it feels awkward, and after the Tier 6, the gun depression feels pretty crappy because I got kind of used to the 12 degrees gun depression of the Tier 6. So 10 degrees actually feels kind of weird after that. So it's going to take a wee bit of getting used to if you're thinking about getting one of these things in comparison to the Tier 6, because they're about the same size height wise, just this thing's way longer, so it's actually an easier target, and it also doesn't have the incredible reverse speed of the Tier 6. Now, let's actually focus on the gameplay here for a second. This Batcha 12T has made some serious mistakes with his life, and has decided to rush a tank that fires HE rounds that do like 275 damage per shot? Oh no, never mind, 260 damage, I can't mix the two together. They do 260 damage on average per shot, and they have 75 penetration, and he thought that was a great idea to rush a tank that can do that with a Batcha 12T, a tank which has no armor whatsoever. Yeah, he got absolutely obliterated, and also I got shot full speed on the move into a T-34-100, which has helped my damage total already up to over 1000. So you can see whenever you can use the HE rounds on these tanks, they can do colossal amounts of damage. But if you're forced to use the AP rounds, it can be a lot more difficult to really build up the damage. Like, you just saw how easily I was able to build the damage right there. But now I'm going to go in here, try to build up a little bit more damage, and unfortunately one of my tires is actually blown off here a bit by this Max M4, and then a T-34-100 behind me actually manages to take off another tire, so I decided to actually just repair my wheels just in general and just rush around this MX M445, and you can see here just how easily I'm able to avoid his gun when I do have a bit of momentum. Whenever you lose your momentum though, you lose your ability to turn, as you can see here, until I get a bit of speed while going down the slope. And as soon as I get a bit of speed, I'm suddenly able to just completely outmaneuver this guy again. But as soon as I lost my speed, you saw how difficult it became for me to actually turn and avoid that guy. It's really awkward to get used to that. Like, getting used to the fact that you can't turn unless you have speed. It feels weird. It feels really, really weird. But once you get used to it, it's pretty usable, but I think it'll be a lot easier whenever I get to the Tier 8. And I can switch modes. I've been getting a wee bit of practice with that with the Tier 8 Premium, but I want to get more experience with the Tier 8 like standard standard wheeled vehicle just before I really make any videos like on the Tier 8 Premium wheeled vehicle, because I feel like playing a vehicle which I'm actually grinding actively is probably going to be better training than just playing the Premium, because if I get used to the Premium, then I might not be able to adjust to the standard light tank or standard wheel vehicle. But you can see here I'm kind of just like moving my fire between these two vehicles here. I'm trying to decide which one I want to shoot, and for those who are wondering, my reload on this tank is about 5.5 seconds, which is not the greatest, as you can probably imagine, for a 75mm gun with 170 damage, 160 penetration. But I am actually able to penetrate the side armor of an 87 that is sitting broadside onto me, and that WZ-111 1FT I think it was called. Yeah, the 1FT. I was able to easily farm damage on that guy. And then, well, this T-29, he turns his turret towards me briefly, and then he decides to not do that anymore and starts to point towards other vehicles. And I'm just able to just like farm this guy. I got really lucky with where my shots were going there. My accuracy actually held up pretty well there. So I'm not really going to complain too much about it, but that felt really weird to be consistently hitting my shots while fully aiming them and sitting still. And here I kind of make a bit of a mistake. I shouldn't have bothered to actually sit still and aim that shot. I should have just rushed that guy instead, because that way I probably actually could have avoided taking a bit of damage there. But for some reason I just decided not to do that. I don't know exactly why. It was kind of just like just in the moment decision where I just sat there instead of expecting 53 TP to turn around and shoot me. So, as you probably just saw there, the HWK-30 just cliff dived and killed himself. The HWK-30 was sitting on like 900 health and just killed himself outright. I don't know why he did that or why he decided to just do a cliff dive there. I didn't see what exactly happened. But it's pretty funny just to see a tank that was on 900 health just jump off a cliff and kill himself. So now they've just got 2 tier 9s remaining, the M53 and 55 and the T-54E1. The T-54E1 is pretty much dead because, well, he has no health and he's an all-loader, and yeah, that's both of them finished off, and that was 3600 damage pretty much in a tier 7 light tank against tier 9s. That was pretty awesome in my opinion. Like, doing 3600 damage in a bottom tier vehicle is not something you can do particularly often, and there's not many tier 7s I can think of off the top of my head which I could actually replicate that sort of result in. This is pretty much like the perfect vehicle to have been in for this particular match, but it doesn't really change my opinion on this thing too much, because my general experience with this tank is that it gets spotted more often than the tier 6 did. It just feels more cumbersome than the tier 6. And the inability to turn whenever you lose any momentum at all is pretty frustrating and can be aggravating to deal with just in general. So I don't like this thing that much, but this thing definitely was, oh well, sorry, not this thing. This game was definitely a highlight in my grind through this vehicle. I thought this was actually a pretty fun game, and finally getting the ace tanker for this vehicle was pretty satisfying, because I've seen some people have been struggling to do that because they just find this vehicle so awkward and frustrating to drive. But yeah, for the most part, I don't like this vehicle that much, but even a broken clock can tell the right time twice a day. Let me know what you guys think of this video in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.